Well, hello everyone. Welcome in. I'm Taffany and this is Tika's Gardens. Now, guys, imagine this. It is December and I am still able to get out and pick vegetables and things that I would like to use in recipes or cook with. Imagine being able to still harvest food in December to have cold weather hardy crops. That is what I have been so lucky to be able to have. Now, I live in Spring, Texas, Zone 9B, so we have much milder weather than a lot of other parts of the country. I realize that. But some of these crops could take you, depending on your weather situation, into December as well. But it's not just crops. I mean, look at this. I have roses. I have flowers in bloom around the garden. I have herbs that we typically come out and pick to cook with. It's just so amazing to be able to still pick food and herbs in December. And a lot of you can do it too. I'm going to show you some of the things that I have in the garden that has been here for a couple of years nonstop, and some things that I've tried out and is proving to do well in this cold weather. So we're going to look at winter hardy crops. But before I do that, I have to tell you that the sky is beautiful today. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's just pretty and blue, and you can see the moon off over there. So it's really a pretty morning. Now, I woke up and it was 38 degrees. It's in the 40s right now, but it still feels pretty comfortable. It's a little crisp. My little fingertips are, a little bit cold, but it's nothing bad. It's supposed to get into the 60s today, so we'll see. All right, guys. So the first place I want to start with our winter edibles is here in the vegetable garden. I worked so hard to get it to this point. I figure we might as well start here. The first things I want to talk about are the tomatoes. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to please make sure when you are choosing your vegetables to choose varieties that can tolerate your zone and your climate. For example, I usually grow collards. They are usually my number one grower. You can see they're not doing so good here this year. This is a new bed filled with soil. I got a bunch of broken bags. Maybe it's the soil that is the issue, but the kale and the collards have struggled this year, but they are usually my number one growers. I choose Georgia collards. It's a southern variety bred to be able to tolerate the heat and humidity. So you need to make sure that your varieties can suit your climate. You can't choose a northern variety to grow here in the South. I've tried it. So trust me, I've tried it. I've already failed for you. You don't have to suffer the failure yourself. Same with the tomatoes and other things, corn, carrots, all of that. I've tried different ones and had to learn the hard way to stick with southern varieties. But my tomatoes are doing really great. I have different sizes of tomatoes and different varieties, and they're all doing good. And I use the Jack's fertilizer to fertilize them as a test for this year. Most years I don't use a fertilizer. I just kind of let them grow and I get what I get. But I decided to try fertilizer this year since the summers are so hot, so humid here. But I have a ton of tomatoes, clumps all over the place of tomatoes. So I'm very happy with that. The other item is my turnip greens, which are doing fabulous. I typically harvest one side while the other side's growing. And then while the side that I recently harvested is growing, I'll go and harvest the next. So I kind of alternate them. And I will continue to do that until right up to the very last minute. Then I'll pull them up and harvest the turnips underneath. I have purple bell peppers. I pick those and cook with those. So those are doing great. My turnips, when I pick them, I clean them, prep them, bag them, and freeze them or cook them. So I've got a bunch of turnips that have been getting stored in our freezer. I'm so happy about that. The other crop is my corn. That is a cool plane. It has some kind of red art underneath the wings. I think it's a flight lesson going on. But anyway, my corn here. This is a test for me. I tried to do corn last year. I found a heat tolerant variety, and I can't remember which one this is, but it is growing and it is doing good. I planted it in August, and I have ears of corn popping up everywhere. What can I say? I'm excited. I actually picked some the other day, and I cooked some yesterday. So it is so fun and such a pleasant surprise to be able to garden in the winter and be able to harvest food and know where your food is coming from. I just love that. The other thing that has done great, it's the turnip greens. Not turnips, I mean my mustard greens. This is the second harvest of mustard greens that I've done this year. I planted in the spring. I harvested through the spring and pulled up the last during sometime late summer and put out new seeds. I have the mustard. I have broccoli and romaine. Some romaine is starting to come up, but it's not doing the greatest. And then I have lettuce, which I have used for salads. So in essence, so far, I would say my corn, the lettuce, mustard, turnips, and tomatoes. And we definitely can't forget the habaneros. Habaneros have been fantastic. I've got bags and bags and bags of habaneros in the freezer. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. My husband loves peppers and a lot of almost everything. So we'll go through them, but I don't even know how we've been harvesting such large bags of them. It doesn't look like the plants are much, but they have been giving a lot of food. And then, of course, lastly is the okra behind the camera, right in front of me. So I'll show you the okra. But these are all the things that have been really doing great. But let's take a look at the okra. All right, guys. So I'm over here near this back vegetable bed. Let me kind of step around so you can see my okra. These usually grow to about right here on me. This year they're much smaller, but they are still providing okra. Even the one down here that was transplanted is doing good, but yeah, we're getting some good height on some of these. I can't complain, but as long as they produce food, regardless of their height, I'm pleased. I don't necessarily care if they get humongous. Just give me a lot of food. That's it. Now, I'm not a big okra fan. I love fried okra. Well, I don't love it, but I definitely will eat it. But my husband is a big okra fan. And my mother was a big okra fan too. So I definitely try to make sure I always have okra every year in the garden. All right, guys. So that is everything that is performing well. What I call my winter gems. They have proven to be very surprising, but giving a very big payoff in their bounty. So hopefully those are some things that, you know, will help you out and, you know, to help you choose what crops to put in so that when you get into your winter season, you can still be harvesting as well. Weather's different all over the country, and I know the further north you are, your winters are longer, summers are shorter. You're going to not be able to grow into December in some places. I get that, but you can still kind of push it as far as you can into what is your winter. Just find the right crops for your zone and, you know, just test it and see how far into your cool weather you can grow them before you're definitely done. But that's what I'm doing this year, kind of playing around and testing it out. And I'm going to push it as far as I can. But that is it for the winter gems in my vegetable garden, my winter harvest. Let's head out to the long border and let's take a look at some of the herbs in the well, I don't want to call it an herb garden because I have a combination of herbs and flowers over there. That's how I like to plant a mixture of food and plants all together. So let's take a look at that along with a few things along that new walkway bed that I made. So let's go. All right, guys. So here is what I call the long border. As you can see, and in the long border, I have this specific section right here that I call my kitchen garden. It's where I have all of the herbs, medicinal and edible. And of course, a lot of edible herbs are also medicinal. But what I have in this garden that is still performing well in spite of the 30-something degree nights is tarragon. This is also known as marjoram. This is a Mexican tarragon, and it is doing well. And yes, I use it to cook with. And the other thing I have here is rosemary, and I have oregano. Now, this oregano was here when I moved in. There were two small oregano plants, maybe about this large in around, and they were here when we moved in. They've been dug up and placed in different parts of the garden, but they have stayed green year round. They have not died off. They have not died back and then come back. They stay constantly, even through the cold weather. They've lasted through our little frost snaps and ice snaps and stuff. So the oregano, the rosemary, and the tarragon are performing very well in our winter edible garden. And I have this oregano here. The second one I have down here at the rocks where it has been divided and broken up, and it is kind of arching the rocks, as you will see here in this clip. It is going to kind of be a decoration around there and food at the same time. So those are the herbs that are doing great here in our kitchen garden. That is a winter gem, as I will call it. So I have one more thing I want to show you, and that is along the walkway bed there, our newest planting area. So let's head that way. All right, guys, onions. These particular onions, there's 3 of them here. These are in bloom. This one, for some reason, isn't blooming. I don't know why, but it's not. But these onions were here when we moved in, along with the oregano. And I think there were 2 or 3 of them, but like the oregano, they have been dug up, moved to different places, and divided. I have a few onions out along the driveway garden beds. I have some along the back in the courtyard garden, and I have these here. And they are, of course, more like chives. You know, you can cut up the leaves, and it has the little bulbous bottom. So they're a little more like chives than full-blown onions, but they definitely have the onion taste and smell. Also, just quick mention, this is new, so we'll see how it does, but I've got the society garlic. So that was just planted this fall, and I'm expecting that to be a good winter hardy vegetable, so to speak. I think garlic is a vegetable, but nonetheless, I have high hopes for it. But the onions, they have never been covered up, you know, for any frost or snow or anything. They have just survived, just like the oregano. All right. Well, that is everything in the winter edible garden here in my Spring, Texas Zone 9B garden. Those flowers on the onions are full of bees at the highest point of the day. So we still have bees out feeding on them when it gets to noon and all that stuff. But we have our onions, society garlic as a test. We've got our long border back there. We've got the vegetable garden and everything that is still producing, I plan on putting in the garden every year after this. Now that I know those that I already knew, I will continue to use. Those that are new for me are now going to be incorporated permanently because I want to be able to garden into the winter as long as I can. I really want to be able to grow as much of my own food as possible. So that is my plan, to garden as long as I can into the winter. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope that it gives you some ideas of some things that you can plant in your garden that will hopefully go into winter for you as well. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today in the garden. And it's just, the sky is so beautiful. It's just going to be a beautiful day today. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, guys, as we exit out of this video, I'm going to let you enjoy the showdown between Tika and the squirrel over there on the tree. So let me show you that. Tika and the squirrel are going at it right now.